Hello everyone. I'm Lisa from Crafting and Cruising. We're a couple of minutes late. Sorry about that. Trying to get it all together. We're at the river and I wish y'all could see the view, but if I turn the table around then everything's kind of in the shade, so I don't think you want to see that. So anyway, when you hop on, stay high and tell me what you have going on this weekend. We've enjoyed kind of a quiet day inside, and we are going to dinner tonight with two of my, oh, that got light again, Czech savvy sisters, there we go, from New York. And guess what, I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb, sorry about that. Do we have a cord plugged in here for my fan? Hold on, you guys, I gotta turn the fan on so I can get some air. It's hot.
I got it. We did.
Okay. So we're going to meet Diane Cardello and Janine Olney from New York, and I'm super excited. I cannot wait to see both of them, hug their necks. It's been since, I guess, last year in Kansas City. It's where we met. And we're in the Czech Savvy Sisterhood together, and we just love it. So, we're going to do a project today that, oh, that feels so good. We're going to do a project today that can be done anytime and can be used anytime, but I feel like it's especially good at Christmas time because you can use it for gifts, you can use it to put on gifts, you can use it for just anywhere around your house. You can make them as pretty as you want or as neutral as you want. I think some people make them and use at weddings. I'm not sure if they actually make like bouquets for the bride and the, hey Veronica, and the bridesmaids out of it, or if they just make like centerpieces for the tables. But anyway, the sky's the limit. So let me tell you what I'm making this with. I'm making it with wax paper, parchment paper, coffee filters, and I'm using the brown kind. I was going to actually coffee stain some until I found that my friend Sana, where we are, had some of the brown ones, so we're going to use those. And then I have a lot of Oriental papers, or pieces of Oriental papers, that I got when I was taking watercolor classes at a place in Nashville called Plaza Art Supply. So I took classes there, and then we could go out and shop. And I got a lot of these simple Oriental papers like this that could be used and incorporated into my watercolor paintings. So, see, this is almost like the rice paper that we use to print on. So I've got several different ones. I've got some in white and some in cream. And I've already made a sample to show you that I used some of this. This is actually a tissue paper too. It crinkles real well. So, Candace, hey. So anyway, I'm going to show you the one that I made with that. So here's how they end up.
Hey, Joyce.
Open it up. Hey, Joyce. So can you see this little flower that is flat on the back? So you could put it on a gift instead of a ribbon, like my gift of wax. You could put it on a box. You could even put it on hair clips. It'd be cute for a hair clip. You could make them a lot smaller. You can make them bigger. And once you get it put together, then you just kind of scrunch it. You scrunch it a little bit beforehand. And then once you get it all together, you go back and just play with it. And then you can add a little bead in the center if you want to, like I did this. You're off to acupuncture, Candace. We'll have a good time. I'm going to have dinner with Janine Olney and Diane Cardello from New York, some of our sisters. I can't wait. You need all of, okay, so any kind of papers you want to use. Tissue paper, rice paper. You definitely need wax paper and parchment paper because both of them crinkle real well, and you'll need to probably use a lot of those. I just took a cup that measured about 3 inches, And I took a long sheet of wax paper. I should have brought it out here to show you an example, but I took a long sheet of wax paper and I folded it in just enough, for the cup to fit down on so that I could trace around it, okay? So I folded it once lengthwise, then I folded it again lengthwise, and again, as many times as I could fold and get that same width lengthwise. Then I cut off any extra that was left. Then I folded it the other direction, just enough to be able to trace around the circle. So I folded it again, folded it again.
So how many layers did you do?
I did different layers on different papers depending on how much paper I had. So I traced around it, then I took scissors and I cut around. Now, you don't have to have perfect circles because remember we're going to scrunch them, and remember we're trying to make them look like flower petals, and flower petals are not all evenly rounded, okay? So, any papers you have, tissue paper, if you have some pretty wrapping paper that you want to incorporate in there, you can. Just make sure that you include wax paper and parchment paper, and you'll probably use more of those than anything. Then about a 3-inch circle, scissors, a pencil, and then you need some small brads. And I got these. These are Creatology from Michaels. And let me show you how tiny they are. Can you see that? See, they're little bitty, which is what you want. And brads are the kind of things we used to use in reports at school, remember? Good grief, I can't even hold on to it. So you stick the brad through, and then the 2 little sides come down. And that's what's going to hold your flower together. You don't want your hole in the center to be too big, because if you do, the brad will go through. So what I have to use is an awl that Rodney had from home, and it's probably
like an ice pick.
It's like an ice pick. Yes, probably a little bit bigger than it needs to be, but it's a very sharp point. And then you need something like a piece of wood under it. And so you'll see when I start making one that once I get them together, I'm just going to put the awl right in the center and then tap it with my hand and try to go all the way through at one time. And it'll make just that little tip, that little point tip. Then we'll go from there and I'll show you how to do the rest. Okay? Would you please cut me a piece of the glue off, because I'm going to need some more glue. All right, can you maybe move this back a little bit and then tilt it down?
Okay.
Oh, you don't want these blowing.
Camera coming back.
I'm also going to use some diamond dust on the edge of one, I think. That's good. That's good. Okay. So here I've got, you can't see them, but I've got little piles of paper out here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with a piece of parchment paper, circle, and I'm going to wad it up. That's good. And then I'm just going to kind of unfold it or unwad it. Okay. I've got one. Now I'm going to take a piece of wax paper right here. Wax paper wads real well. Okay, so I wadded it. Now I unwadded it. I'm just going to lay it right on top of this one. I'm going to take one of these circles that I cut out of coffee filters. I'm going to wad it up. See, it gets real teeny tiny. Kind of wad it and then lay it on top, and I'm counting. I think you want about 15 total. All right, so let's take this piece of rice paper, oriental paper right here. See, it's not a perfect circle. That's number 4. Let's make another one matching this right here. So, the one I showed you. This is number 5, and it's smaller. So I'm trying to put it in the center. All right, then I have this that looks like rice paper. So this will be number 6.
Yeah, if you had some of those that were smaller, you could put them off center.
Yeah, you could.
And vary them around a little bit.
And then I have this little white rice paper right here. So that's going to be, I think that's just one piece, number 7. All right, let's get another piece of wax paper. So y'all tell me what you got going on this weekend. This is number 8.
What about different colors of tissue paper like you put in packages? Does that work?
Definitely. If you want color, then yes, colored tissue paper. You can even get, and especially on Amazon, these little coffee filters don't want to separate. You can even get like floral tissue paper. Pattern, geometric patterns. Sky's the limit. You can get a lot of things. 1, 2, I forgot my count. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. I'll take this little paper right here, which is another Oriental paper. That'll be number 10. Then I think I'll take this bigger piece of the printed tissue paper. It's a little bit thicker than tissue paper. That'll be number 11. I'm going to take this other piece to match the one I already put in there. So that's number 12. We wad it up a little bit. Okay, that's number 12. I want another piece of the coffee filter, so that'll be 13.
You see any comments on mine or not
No,
changing?
the last
right now?
thing I see is what Candace wrote.
Good.
13, piece of wax paper.
You have a bunch of grandkids that set up an assembly line. They could really
14.
work on that.
They would love this. 15, that's what Chris Hunter said about what we did yesterday with the little dolls. She said this would be great to do with children. 15, and let's end with one of these little pieces of rice paper with glitter in it. Let me see the glitter. There you go. Okay, and there's nothing magic about that number. I just think that makes a good pile. So see, we have here our group of papers, okay? We wadded them and then kind of unwadded. All right, now I'm going to take my lovely piece of wood. It'd be better if I had like a block of wood. I'm going to lay these down. I'm going to take this awl, and I'm going to put it about in the center, where I think the center is, and I'm going to...
Flat piece of wood would be better.
This flat piece of wood would be a lot better. I wonder if I turn it this way, it'd be better. All right, I'm going to try to hit it once with my hand and see if it went all the way through. Yep, it did. Okay, see, you can barely see it sticking out. That's good. That's what you want. Now I'm going to quickly, before they get all messed up in my hand, take one of these brads. If I can hold on to it, I've got butterfingers. These are so tiny. Okay, I'm going to go through the front. No, I'm not. Go through the front to the back. Now.
Hello, Diane Newman.
Hey, Diane. All right, so now I'm going to separate the pieces right here. See? That's what the brad is. This
Hello,
is where
Bobby.
you can put the glue when you get ready to glue it or tape it on a gift. Now, before I wad these back up into a flower, I'm going to pick some kind of little bling bling that I want to go on here. This is probably too big. I mean, we could use it, but it's a flower in itself. So let me I just brought a bunch of stuff out here, you guys. Here is a little thing of 3 little jewels, and one of them's kind of blue. So that would look really cute right there in the center, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Fabri-Tac and hot melt to go on and put this down. Actually, Rodney, we can't get these other pieces off here? I bet we can't. Let's just go on and do it this way. Okay.
Do the next one different if you want to.
Okay. So I'm going to stick that right down in the center. Can y'all see? And let's hold it for just a second before we then try to turn it into a pretty little flower like this. You could go back with green tissue paper or get some just little leaves, some little leaves from the Dollar Tree that come on plants, you know, and cut them off and put a couple of leaves under it, glue them on if you wanted to before you put it on the package.
Is it going to take that a while to stick, or?
I don't think so. It's not going to take too long. Okay, so now I'm going to hold on to this, and while I'm on here now, I'm going to start scrunching all around this flower. I'm just going to bunch it up, sprinkle it up, sprinkle and wrinkle. and just have fun playing with it. And it'll be pretty when we get through with it. The next one we do, we're going to put some diamond dust on the edges. And I also brought out here my Distress Oxide by Ranger. This is in the color Vintage Photo. And you could go back, if you wanted to, on the tips and just take your Vintage Photo like this and just hit right on the tips to make it look even more antiqued.
Hey, Nikki Hopkins.
Hey, Nikki, I hope you're having a better day today, sister. Okay, so, see, I just put a little of the Vintage Photo around the edges. And now these are still a little bit too much together for my liking, so I'm just going to try to separate and wad and scrunch and move around to the next side and separate, wad and scrunch, until I get something that I think looks like a pretty little flower. And you can probably see all kinds of applications for these. I think if you had all kinds of white, if you used white netting, and like I said, I wish I had some netting to use on this. If you use some white netting and some really elegant white oriental papers, including the parchment paper and the wax paper, because that helps give it body.
Hello, Chrissy Snyder.
And then maybe use even some diamond dust on them and just have these sprinkled around on tables, like at the reception. I think they would be beautiful. You could even do them as party favors. People could take them home with them from their table. Okay, so let me just kind of put it down and wad it up a little more in the center to look more like a little flower. You could do them tinier, do them a lot bigger.
So you started out with this one with around a 3-inch.
About 3 inches.
3-inch
So-
cover glass to cut around.
Okay, so here's this one. Here's the first one we made. Aren't those sweet? Throw me some hearts if you like these. These can be done with children. I think these would just be fun. You know what? I wonder if they could even do these in some nursing homes with some people who still had some dexterity in their hands. Just doing something simple like this might bring a smile to their faces. Okay, so here we go. Then you just put a little dot of glue, or you can roll a piece of two-sided tape under here, stick it down on top of a package. I wish I had more of a package to show you, but let's just pretend like this is wrapped. Put it on there with a little tag if you wanted to, and you're good to go. Okay? All right, so that's 2. Let's do another one and use diamond dust on it. Let me see if I can find another center I want to use. I also have these little pearls that come on these little wires right here. You could take some of these out and separate them and put them in the center. That might be pretty. Let's pull one of these out and see how we could do this. Let me have those snips, please, sir. So I think what I'll do is just cut this off right there, and then leave these 3 right here together, and I can kind of bend this up a little bit to put it, and that'll be pretty as the center of a flower. Okay, so let's make another flower. This time I'm going to start with the wax paper on the bottom. It is a little bit heavier. It crinkles really well, and it does help it have more body. I think I'm going to try to crinkle them a little more this time so I have less crinkling to do when I get ready to put it together. Okay, let's take a coffee filter. And again, if you don't have these brown coffee filters or can't find them, you can coffee or tea stain your own. Just if I were going to coffee stain them, I would use instant coffee, put it in boiling water, and let it steep just a little bit, and then put your coffee filter in there, Let it soak for just a little bit. You don't want it to disintegrate, so for just a little bit. Then lay a bunch of them out on a cookie sheet and put them in like a 200 or 250 degree oven. Doesn't take them hardly any time to dry. And if you even crinkle them up, or if you put some down and then cross one over, if you did some doilies at the same time and put some of the doilies out on top of some of them to dry, then when they dry and you pull them out, you have the doily print kind of embedded on your coffee filter. It's really cool. And these also, you know what else these can be used for? Junk journals. You could make some real small ones to put on the outside of a junk journal, or make even a big one like this to put on. I think this would be a darling cover for a junk journal. I have yet to make a junk journal, and I keep saying I'm going to do it. I'm going to get started, and then every time I want to get started, I get busy doing something else. It's like I've got a mental block about doing it. All right, let me get one of these pieces of Oriental paper. I love this stuff. It doesn't crinkle very well, but it's already got so many fibers in it that I don't think it really matters. You're still going to get a neat effect. In fact, I may want to put that toward the top. Let me hold that one till the top. Let's put some parchment paper. So y'all tell me what you got going this weekend. Fun and exciting.
You know those stickers that people used to use to put their receipts on?
Stickers?
They had like a piece of wood with a little spike sticking up. You could take one of those and just push each individual piece down over it.
You could, as long as your brads were either big enough or it was pointed enough that you weren't going to tear through the paper. Because the first one of these I did, I just took the awl and kind of went like this, and it made what I thought was going to be a good size hole. And then when I put the brad in it, some of them came right off.
Well, I think those receipt holders are only about 1/8 of an inch. Might be just about right.
Maybe.
And then you wouldn't have to hold them. You could just wrinkle them, stick them on there.
You see anybody making comments?
Well, Debbie Haggard Oakley is watching
Hey,
the last thing.
How are you feeling, sister? Are you home? I hope so.
Debbie says hi there.
We need some comments and some emojis. I heard Facebook's doing another one. They're always doing updates, but every time you turn around, you find out something different.
Yep, Debbie got home this morning.
Good. So glad. I know you are. I'm so glad. Are you gonna feel real good to sleep in your own bed? We're in Ashland City, Deb, at our friend's house on the river. Then I'm going to go meet some sisters from the Czech Savvy Sisterhood from New York that are in town tonight. We are. We're going to go meet them and have dinner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I think that's going to be good enough. All right, so see, kind of scrunched them up and then kind of unscrunched them a little bit. Okay? Yeah, my getaway driver showed up and busted me out of rehab. He's pretty good one, isn't he? Okay, gonna take my awl.
Let me stay it for you a little bit.
Put in the center and hit it once. Yep, it came through. Okay, I can see the little hole shining through there. If I can just hang on to this brad, there we go. Okay, so we'll pull it down. This time I'm going to wait and put the center gem in at the end so that I can really scrunch it. Okay, so see, we just had that little gold piece, which you can leave it like that. You don't even have to put a center into it. But see, now we can really grab a hold of it, wad it, scrunch it up, make it look like we're just trying to destroy it. You need something?
I was just looking. If one some up for you, help me out.
Well, I think this is going to be probably the last one. Okay, so see how pretty that is? Now let's put, I don't think I have a plate out here to put my glue on, and I don't have regular Mod Podge out here, but I'm going to use some of this Fabri-Tac. And
You put it on that clear plastic bag right over there. You want something to put some glue on?
yeah, but I've got to have something to put the diamond dust in. I didn't come out very prepared, guys.
You need paper plate.
That'd probably be good.
Okay.
We'll just talk for a minute while he goes to get me a paper plate. So one of my daughters and her daughters are in Kansas, Topeka, Kansas. Their Christmas gift from their mom was a trip to Kansas for this big, oh, that's so pretty, look, country festival that's going on. And so they've been looking forward to this trip for a long time. So they left yesterday and drove there and had a, as she called it today, not so treehouse. It was supposed to be. Apparently it wasn't really great, but they just got there in time to sleep. And then today starts the what I just say, festival. And she said there weren't as many bands there as she thought was going to be there, but they are big country music fans. And so whoever was there really piqued their interest when Jana first saw it advertised last year and asked the girls did they want that for a Christmas gift. So they're going to be there today, tomorrow, and Saturday, I think. And then they're going to tour around St. Louis. They've got some places to go. Thanks, Deb. They got some places marked off that they want to go. They may go to a professional baseball game. They may not. They haven't decided. But thank you. They're going to, just have a mother-daughter weekend. It's going to be really good for them, I think. Okay. I have a little brush I brought out here. So I'm just using Fabri-Tac. Normally, I would just use Mod Podge instead of Fabri-Tac for the glue to put the diamond dust on. But let's look how pretty this is. That's pretty. So I'm going to take it and just kind of try to rub it around the edges some. I don't want to go all the way in by any means. I'm just trying to get a little bit of glitz on here. And this Fabri-Tac is really too thick. So Mod Podge would have worked a lot better. So do as I say, not as I do. That's what my mother used to tell us all the time. And we'd say, well, you did such and such. She'd say, do as I say, not as I do. Okay. So let's see what will happen when we sprinkle some diamond dust on these. Now, the thing you have to be careful about, especially if you're going to use this like at a wedding or a party or anything, if you're going to use diamond dust in here, you've got to make sure that you get the excess off really, really well, because diamond dust are shards of glass. That's all they are. So I have had them stuck in my finger and I've had them stuck in my foot, and they hurt. But they're so pretty. That just didn't do a whole lot. So let's see if we can get some more on here. I wonder what would happen if I just do this. Just kind of rub it on the tips. It probably would work better than what I was doing with that brush. Y'all, Fabri-Tac is good for most anything. I have kind of fallen in love with this glue. But it is thick. So again, we're not trying to get perfection on this. We're just kind of trying to get a little idea of what all this looks like and see if we like it. I think this would be cute if you had a themed birthday party and you got, looks probably, You got tissue paper to go along with that theme, and then made a bunch of little flowers and put on the presents. Okay. So I don't know if y'all can see the little glitter and shine or not, but it just gives it a little something something. And again, for a wedding, I think it would be beautiful. Debbie, I'm just doing this to show ideas. By using the brad, you can glue from the back or put a piece of double-sided tape on the back. And I just think they would be darling to use for any time you're doing a gift for any reason. But I think since we've been talking about Christmas and doing Christmas in July, I think that this would be really a cute way when you wrap presents to just put these on top instead of bows, maybe. Because this is the kind of thing anybody can do when you're sitting around watching TV. You know, you could knock out tons of these while you're watching television at night and just put them someplace where they'll be taken care of until you need them. And then when you get ready to wrap your Christmas presents, you got all these cute little floral things to use instead of or in addition to ribbon and bows. So that's all. It's just a fun something. I put some bling in there. I actually had bought at a garage sale or consignment shop or something this real cheap necklace that had all kinds of bling on it. And I asked Rodney to take it apart for me today so I could use the pieces on here. And I think it's turning out real well. It would be good to use Totally Dazzle too, of course. And then, you can go to Michael's, you can go to Hobby Lobby for sure and find all kinds of bling. So we have this one. It's really pretty, and I think at weddings would be gorgeous. These also would be neat if you have a tree that you leave up year round. You could make these for each season. You could make them in reds and pink tissue paper for Valentine's Day. You could do all kinds of shades of green for St. Patrick's Day. You could do red, white, and blue for Memorial Day, for 4th of July. You could do them in all colors for Christmas. You could do them in pastel colors for Easter. I mean, so I keep a little tree up in our bedroom. It hasn't been decorated since I undecorated for Easter, so I kind of fell short and didn't do anything for the summer. But, Thanksgiving you can decorate it, and things like this, you don't have to have an ornament hook. You just sit them in the branches. You just make all kinds of little of these flowers that look so sweet and just stick them in the tree. And then when the season's over, you take them out and store them in a baggie or a box that's covered, and then you have them next year. Rodney just made this one.
It's just stuck the string in there.
And he stuck the strings from our project yesterday where we had used all the African fabrics. And so this is a big one with, fewer petals on it. That's pretty, though. It looks almost like a magnolia.
But the bottoms I didn't put in the center. I put them out to the edges of the Susan outside.
So we have, I'm going to scrunch this one a little bit more before we look at it. It needs to be looser. It's too tight for me. Okay, so we've got this one. We've got this one that we use the Distress Oxide on the tips to make it look older. And then we've got this one. We've got 3 little flowers. It took us, one of them already had made, but we've been sitting out here probably about 20 minutes and made 2 really cute little flowers out of Oriental papers, tissue paper, but remember that the most of it is, or to give it the body and the substance you need, is parchment paper and wax paper. And again, while you're sitting around watching TV, take them, cut them out. And if you just fold your paper, see, I just fluffed it up and it looks even prettier. You just take your paper. I have, like the parchment paper was about this wide, this long or wide. So I tore off a piece real big. And then I measured my cup. I sat it down to see how far I needed to fold it in to measure around the circle. And I crease it. And then I just kept folding to the point that I thought I could still cut it with my scissors. Then any extra I just trimmed off, and then I turned it the other direction, folded, measured to see where it would fit, folded, and then I just cut them out. So you could do a bunch at one time, and like I said, they're not all going to be even, they're not all going to be perfect, that's totally fine. But I just think they make sweet little toppers for gifts. Y'all, I don't like, at Christmas time, I never, well, I can't say never, I rarely will put a bow on a present. I think that they look beautiful that way, and I have friends that do that, and I envy them because I think they're gorgeous. But by the time I wrap everybody's presents, I'm like over it. I don't want to sit there and wrap ribbon around it, or tie ribbon and then try to make a bow, or spend a lot of money, buying pre-made bows. But I just hate to just wrap the box. For the children, I know all they do is rip into it anyway, but usually my gifts are kind of out and showing for a while. And so, since I don't like to do bows, I thought this might be a good compromise on at least some of them, because I stack gifts, so maybe the top gift on each pile could have one. I don't know. I just think they're pretty. I think you can reuse them. If you don't, they get torn. What have you lost? A little bit of money in tissue paper and maybe some bling.
If you were doing a present for like a teenager, you could do like comic books.
That's a good
They'd be
idea.
colorful, and they look through the bows.
That's a great idea. Comic books. You could mix comic books and newspaper, newsprint. You could use magazine paper, but magazine paper is a little bit heavier weight. It would probably wad and crinkle real well. But I don't know that you'd be able to make as many layers. So anyway, we used all kinds of Oriental paper, tissue paper, parchment paper. We used the small brads. Where'd they go? From
They're still right in front of you.
Creatology.
They're right there. The brads are right there. I don't know where the package is.
Yeah, I want the package to show them. It's that brand. It's this brand right here. That's that Creatology, I think it's called. And oh, here it is. It's a little bitty package. It has how many pieces? 110 pieces. That'd make a lot of flowers, but they're teeny tiny. And I got these at Michael's. So you've got the tissue paper, the rice paper, parchment paper, wax paper,
Coffee
brads. Oh, I used coffee filters that were already this brown color, but you could coffee or tea stain them yourself if you wanted to, and then just put them in the oven and let them dry. If you do that, try what I said sometime. At Michael's you can get packages of the large, medium, and small doilies, paper doilies, and they all come in one package. You get a lot of them. So if you want to coffee and tea stain some of them to look older, which you can also, by the way, use one of the bigger ones and fold it in half, and then glue that to the back of an angel to look like angel wings. I forgot to bring my angel out from yesterday. I was going to show them how I did the face. But anyway, then you coffee and tea stain those, and once you get them wet, kind of wring them out. Then if you've got just plain rice paper or plain coffee filters or whatever that you've tea stained and coffee stained, lay them on a cookie sheet, and then lay one or two of the doilies over them. Stick them in a 250 degree oven. It doesn't take hardly any time for them to dry. Then when you take them out and you take that doily off, it's left the negative print on the paper underneath. So then you have your doily that's coffee stained, and then you have coffee stained rice paper or coffee filters that have a little design to them. So it just kind of gives them a little more interest.
You want the artifact of the day?
Yeah, what's the artifact of the day? We haven't been doing that.
Instead of cutting circles, it's sometimes a lot easier just to fold your paper 2 or 3 times, and then just cut half circles out of it, and then the folds when you open it will be circles.
Did y'all get that?
That makes it a little easier sometimes than cutting around the whole circle.
Good idea. Good idea. I had a lot of extra paper and little scraps laying around, that's for sure. So, okay, you guys, we will be on at some point tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure when. We're picking up some friends and taking them out on the boat tomorrow. We're going to pick them up at 10. And I'm not sure how long they'll be here. The project for tomorrow is not real hard. It takes a little time, but it's not too bad. So that may be a tomorrow night live that we're going to do, or late in the afternoon, depending on what time we get off the boat. And it'll be another one that I think you all will really enjoy. You may have seen other creators do it. I did it last year and loved it, and so I wanted to share it with you all. So anyway, again, I can't emphasize enough how important it is to be signed up for my Telegram. Y'all know it took me like 2 seconds to send that telegram out today to say when I was going to be on. I cut those pearls to put in the center of that and ended up putting something else. Anyway, what was I saying?
Sign up for Telegram.
Oh yeah.
Telegram.
So it took me 2 seconds to send that out, and I didn't even go over my business page or my personal page and put it, but it's so easy. So it's pinned to the top of my page, and feel free to invite people to come and have fun with us. We have a good time. So I love you guys. I hope you have a blessed day, and if you get an opportunity, go out and bless someone. Bye.